那在这样子的状况之下，我不晓得韩国的状况，但是至少就我所知道的，我们整个两岸三地其实在艺术收藏都非常的依赖拍卖市场。那两位在经营自己的藏家的时候，怎么去因应这个状况？就是可能很多的藏家。就是说，在对于艺术收藏，对他们来说，其实是一个 investment。那怎么样去说服藏家去接受自己所推出的新的艺术作品或新的艺术家？那这方面的挑战，可不可以请两位也谈一下
I think she forgot to translate.
Okay, Pearl, you first.
Okay, I first. All right, I always tell my client two things. And my collectors two things. Art as an investment is not a bad idea. It's actually a very good idea. If you see, recently, even in May, Wall Street Journal has been saying that you should use artworks to hedge other investment risk. But those artworks are what we call the blue chip artworks. And those artworks would have a credibility, a value, which is endorsed by academics, or endorsed by the art establishment, by museums, by academics, by art critics. So these artists basically would have their solo show. At least there's 50 big museums having solo show, or they have been collected by more than 100 museums as a permanent collection. This is what we call a value. Okay. After they have these values, what they do is you have supply and demand. Now the supply and demand equations will come in. Okay. So then you have the values, you put it in auction, so supply and demand, so people fight and the price goes up. Okay. That's why I said if anybody wants to buy art as an investment, fantastic. Then find the good work and do it as a good investment. I know even private banks who would finance all these artworks and who would do financing for that. But as art, collection, art collecting has to be based on contemporary art. Unless that artist has satisfied all these criteria I give. They have gained enough credibility, they have values and all that. And also, because if you are a living artist, you have non-stop production. So your supply and demand will never meet really. If supply and demand would only, you will see only result when you have limited, not even limited, when you have a fixed production. So now today, most of the people auctioned in a contemporary art auction is emotional values. That's what I call emotional values. But obviously, there are some big names like Kiva, and all those big names. They have already attained certain credibility. Yes, okay. These are the people that I would agree that. You can take it as an investment, but it's not every kiva. It will depending on which year, what quality. There's many things that one has to think about. So that's mine.
How about Jun? Did you get the questions?
No, you said something about
art investment.
Yes, art investment. I think collectors know better than us where to invest. But what we do in Korea is there are many circle of friends who get advice from someone like us, or they just collect paintings they like, and they make more people buy what they buy. So by process, demand and supply, and I think that's the best way.
So, you're saying more like peer pressure?
No, it's not peer pressure. It's more sharing ideas of what their point of interest and.
So, 难道这个不会造成就是说画廊在推一些比较新，就是说可能没有在拍卖目录里面出现的名单的艺术家？我想 在这一方面的话，两位的画廊是怎么去因应？
I think if you do it for investment, it could be a problem. But because like Paul's gallery and my gallery, we have different characteristics, and we know what our clients want, and most of the time we have similar views. And when we promote an artist, young artist, we don't really talk about it as an investment. It's more like as a supporting a young artist, and more like just following the artist.
Same.
It's the same, but some of them, like I have these calligraphy artists, they will never go to auctions. And first, these artists doesn't even know auctions. But these artists, what I'm doing with these artists is I have to bring values. As I always say, I have to give them credibilities, giving values. And so I place them in different museums. That's what I can do. And then I start explaining the structure, because I think most of the collectors doesn't understand the structure. The problem is in Asia we don't have a leading voice. Unlike in the West you have these big museums like MoMA, Pompidou, Tate. This is a big voice. In Asia, we don't have a big voice. So the auction house is the big voice. And the auction house are big, they are credible. And so it's a voice. So what are we going to do to explain to the collectors, explaining the structure? I mean, if we don't understand structure, like values, then obviously. So slowly they understand, because they can see the differences.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and how about 就是我们东方的画廊，因为其实也是托拍卖公司的福哦。那在2002年还是03年的时候，开始中国的艺术家进入了国际的市场，所以2006，所以有更多的等于国际的收藏家知道了东方的艺术家的名字。那 Gana Gallery 其实蛮早的就已经去 approach 欧美的市场，甚至在纽约也有开了一个gallery。所以Jun Yong可以跟我们分享一下，就是东方画廊如何去就是亚洲的画廊如何去开拓欧美的艺术市场的一点经验。
Yes, I think we also had a gallery in Paris for 12 years, and we have our gallery in New York for now 3 years now. And actually, my brother is operating a New York gallery, but he's having a very, very hard time, especially because I guess the economy hasn't recovered. But the primary market in New York is having a very hard time, but secondary market he's having a very good time with that. But I think, like I said, it's good to open up a gallery abroad other than our local areas. But it's just much easier to have partners, and it's too much work simply to open other galleries, and you have to set everything all over, and you start to compete with your friends, your partner for a long time, and I don't think it turned out to be any good.
Mm-hmm. 所以就你说的就是说就是与其开拓海外的市场，你现在会做的更多是跟不同的国际艺术单位合作。那可不可以说一下你现在就是往这一方面的计划？除了台湾，你刚刚有提到可能是索卡艺术中心，那其他地区你是不是也有相同的计划去做这方面的合作，拓展这方面的业务？
Yeah, so I guess the partners could mean many different things. With Soka, what we do is simply we exchange artists to have exhibition, and for like Paul, we're talking about having projects together to have exhibitions in Korea and Shanghai. But I think the partners is mainly to promote our artists in their galleries and promoting their artists in our galleries. So the partner just mean like we could have Soka and other galleries as a partners, but Soka we share some of the artists we have, and that's the mainly we work together.
So mainly in Asia.
Asia and Europe, mainly, yes.
How about Pro?
We're working with several galleries. In design, we're working with a French gallery, which Creole. In London, we're working with David Gill. So we're spreading different ways, and then fine art, we're working with different people as well. So I think for the artist, they want to be seen, their works, they want to be global. I mean, for us, is either the works we can take to international art fair, but I think it's a constant marketing, and I think when Jung Yong said too much work, it's because you have to be there, constantly sitting there, meeting all the collectors, going to a different museum. It's constant marketing. It is much better if you have a partner who's belonged to that place. So they don't need to start all over again. And at this present moment, I'm negotiating with an English gallery to represent Tianbing. So we're always working with partners.